Operation Midnight Hammer was a joint mission involving 125 U.S. military aircraft targeting Iran's nuclear sites at Fordowa and Isfahan. In the early hours of June 21, 2025, around 2 a.m., 7 B-2 Spirit bombers crossed the Mediterranean Sea, flew over Israel and Iraq, and entered Iranian airspace to strike the nuclear facilities. Following these strikes, the global spotlight turned toward Iran's expected response. With over 24 U.S. military bases scattered across the Middle East, there were growing concerns that Iran might retaliate against any of these installations. And then, just 2 days later, it happened. Iran launched strikes on Al Udeid Airbase in Qatar and Ain al-Asad Airbase in Iraq. However, this wasn't the first time Iran had hit back at American targets. Iran has previously attacked U.S. bases and assets multiple times and had even destroyed a major American warship once. Let us revisit the 4 significant incidents where Iran inflicted substantial damage on the U.S. Viewers, on January 3, 2020, the U.S. carried out a drone operation at Baghdad airport, killing Qasem Soleimani. He wasn't just any commander, he was Supreme Leader Khamenei's most trusted military figure and one of the most influential players in Middle East politics. His death sent shockwaves throughout Iran, and the nation vowed revenge. While many thought Iran would only express outrage, it shocked the world by choosing to retaliate with direct missile strikes. Iran boldly announced that the U.S. had killed their top general, and now they would pay the price. Ain al-Asad Airbase, located in western Iraq, holds strategic value for the U.S. military. Just 6 days later, on January 8, 2020, at precisely 1:20 a.m., a barrage of Fateh and Qayyam ballistic missiles lit up the night sky, raining down on the American base like fire from the heavens. Iran's strike was so precise that the missiles directly hit the base's fuel storage, aircraft shelters, and command centers. Remarkably, not a single missile veered off target. The U.S. had intelligence prior to the attack, allowing troops to take shelter in bunkers, but the missiles still caused massive damage. Hangars, runways, and living quarters were all hit hard. Initially, the U.S. claimed there were no injuries. However, later reports confirmed over 100 soldiers had suffered traumatic brain injuries. Their nervous systems were severely affected, with many losing their sight or falling unconscious. The world watched in awe as Iran openly took credit for the attack, calling it a mere warning and hinting at a larger response if provoked again. The U.S. administration initially tried to downplay the event. Then President Donald Trump famously stated, "All is well," attempting to minimize the situation. But satellite images, on-ground footage, and before and after visuals proved otherwise. Iran even stated that they had deliberately avoided hitting soldier barracks. Their aim, they said, was to send a message, not cause unnecessary death. This bold missile barrage stunned the world and left America speechless. A similar bold move occurred a year earlier when Iran delivered a strong blow to the U.S. On a quiet June night in 2019, an RQ-4 Global Hawk drone worth rupees 6,000 crores entered Iranian airspace. Within just 20 seconds, Iran shot down this symbol of American air superiority. At that time, tensions between the U.S. and Iran had escalated dramatically. President Trump had enforced harsh sanctions on Iran and warned other nations against buying Iranian oil. These restrictions nearly wiped out Iran's oil exports. Iran responded aggressively. Oil tankers in the Persian Gulf were being mysteriously attacked by Iranian proxies. The U.S. then deployed high-tech drones to monitor Iran's military activity. One such drone, an unmanned Navy RQ-4 Global Hawk, entered Iran's coastal territory. Its mission was to monitor and report every movement to the U.S. command center. Flying at 60,000 feet beyond the range of regular air defense systems, it was still intercepted. Iran used its Sevam Khordad missile system to lock onto and destroy the drone. The U.S. didn't expect Iran's missile systems to work at such altitude, but the missile struck the drone dead center, setting the Persian Gulf sky ablaze. Iran claimed the drone had entered 15 kilometers into its maritime zone, while the U.S. insisted it was flying in international airspace. Trump initially threatened a military response, but it never materialized. Let's now jump back to 1987. During the Iran-Iraq War, the Persian Gulf was a hotspot of conflict. Iran was attacking Kuwaiti oil tankers, which threatened a global oil crisis. To counter this, the U.S. launched Operation Earnest Will, deploying Navy warships to escort tankers through the Gulf. This operation became the largest U.S. naval convoy mission since World War II. Despite this, tensions remained high. The U.S. then allowed Kuwaiti tankers to be reflagged with American flags, signaling that any attack on them would be considered an attack on the U.S. Iran held back for a while, but on October 16, 1987, it responded. The MVC Isle City, a reflagged Kuwaiti ship flying the American flag, was hit by an Iranian Silkworm missile. This 3,000-kilogram subsonic missile, with a 120-kilometer range, struck the bridge of the ship directly. No U.S. Navy escort was nearby, as Iran rarely targeted these reflagged ships. This attack marked the first direct Iranian assault on an American-flagged vessel. 18 crew members were injured, and the American captain suffered devastating facial injuries, losing both eyes. By attacking a U.S.-flagged vessel, Iran had boldly challenged the authority of the world's superpower. In retaliation, the U.S. Navy destroyed 2 Iranian oil platforms in the Persian Gulf, used not for oil production but by the Revolutionary Guard for military operations. Now, let's discuss how Iran crippled a U.S. Navy warship. During Operation Earnest Will, Iran deployed an underwater minefield targeting oil tankers, and one of these mines eventually struck a U.S. warship. The Iranian Navy planted mines using speedboats. These weren't surface-floating mines. Instead, they were anchored underwater by chains and weights, designed to detonate only when a heavy vessel passed overhead. On April 14, 1988, the guided missile frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts was struck by one of these hidden Iranian contact mines. The blast tore a 21-inch hole in the hull, flooded the engine room, and destroyed 2 turbines. A $500 mine nearly sank a ship worth millions of dollars. After this, the U.S. conducted an extensive sweep and discovered a large Iranian minefield. 4 days later, America responded militarily. U.S. aircraft and naval forces destroyed 2 Iranian oil rigs and the Iranian warship Iris Saw. In this operation, a U.S. Marine helicopter was also lost, along with 2 pilots. History stands witness. From toppling the pro-U.S. government in Tehran to resisting countless sanctions, Iran has consistently shown it won't back down, even when facing a superpower like the United States. What do you think about this ongoing tension? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you liked this video from Facts Black Hole, don't forget to like and share it. See you in our next eye-opening report.